Hi guys! I know that I love crystals and rocks and minerals and fun things that I can dig up out of the earth, and I thought that you might want to see some of my favorite pieces in my special crystal rock collection. So let's take a look. Here I have a piece called blue lace agate that you see someone drilled a hole in it so it can be a bead. Now, agate is the kind of stone that it is. Agate is pretty hard, it is very easy to sculpt, and it is, you can polish it and make it really smooth. And it's also easy to dye different colors, but this one wasn't dyed. This one came out of the earth this color. You can see the stripes on there. Agate usually has lots of layers and stripes to it. And it's called blue lace agate. Why do you think they call it blue lace? I think it's because it kind of looks lacy, like lace. That is blue lace agate. Now here is an example of one of my favorite ones. My favorite rock. It's called amethyst. Amethyst is a type of quartz. Quartz is a kind of mineral that you'll find. I can dig it up in my backyard. And amethyst is when there are certain other minerals present in the quartz, and that makes it look purple. Now, a fun thing about that is that there's different amounts of that mineral in the quartz. So you see here on this side it's light purple, and on this side it's dark purple. Remember what these little points are called? They're called terminations. To terminate means to end. And this is where the stone comes to an end. And the fun thing about amethyst and quartz is that it breaks off into terminations like this. That's just the way that nature sculpts it. So let's see if we can get some good sunlight videos in there. You can see how some of it is very clear. You can almost see through it. And then some parts are darker and they're harder to see through. Now, a fun thing about amethyst is that sometimes it can look a little different. For example, this is also amethyst, but there's not as much purple in there. In fact, there's so little purple you almost can't see it at all. People would call this white or clear amethyst, but you can see that green spot in the middle. A lot of amethyst specimens, when you cut them down the middle like that, you'll see kind of that green. I think it looks like an eye, like it's peeking at you. Hello. But there you can, we'll go over here to look at it. You can see it has all of those little terminations on the end. It comes to all sorts of tiny points. And now the points, of course, are bumpy, but the middle of the rock is really, really smooth. And you can see how the light hits it, and it's kind of shiny too. So, this is amethyst, and this is amethyst, and this is also amethyst. This amethyst, people would say it isn't as good quality as this one, but I like it just the way it is. It's a little bit rougher, it hasn't been polished and smoothed out. But again, you can see it's lighter purple, almost white in some areas, and a deeper purple in others. Now the clarity, that means how clear it is, isn't that good. You can't really see through it. But that doesn't mean it's not a really special stone. Now, one of my other favorite kinds of rocks is called calcite. And calcite is fun because it comes in so many different colors, and it feels kind of buttery when you touch it. Like, I don't know how to really describe it. It just feels soft, but it's still a hard rock. It's really smooth and almost slippery. So a lot of the calcite that you see most often is orange. This is orange calcite. Like I said, it's really, really smooth. It feels kind of a little bit like soap almost, but it's a rock, see? And the orange calcite, yeah, it's really shiny. You can almost see some little stripes in there. I love it. Now, so calcite is always calcite, and then certain minerals exist in the calcite to make it orange. Now, in this calcite, there are other minerals, and those minerals make it green. but it still feels the same way that the orange calcite does, that kind of soapy, almost slippery texture. And you can see that some areas are darker than others because there's more minerals in them. And that area there is really white. Now, here is red calcite. And this calcite has terminations. The others are just kind of chunks that have been smoothed out. But this one hasn't been smoothed out the same way. So you can see it comes to all of those little ends, those points, those special terminations. This is called red calcite because there's a mineral in the calcite that makes it look red. And again, you can see some places there's not a lot of the mineral, and some places there's even more. Look on the bottom, there's a bunch. Let me see if I can hold it up closer to the sun over here, so you can really see all of those little sparklies where it's very smooth and the light hits it, see? And that's what makes it so shiny. Now, finally, the last kind of calcite that I have is clear calcite. Look at that. The clarity on that one is really good because look, you can see the tree in the background through the rock. Have you ever seen through a rock before? That's pretty cool because it's a big rock. It's just very clear. And it has a few what are called inclusions. The inclusions in there are the other little minerals or stones that run through. You see this one has a bit of a kind of a peachy gold coloring. And the special thing about it is that look, you can kind of, there you go, you see the rainbow right there? Yeah, when the light passes through the crystal, sometimes the crystal breaks apart the light. So when we see light, we really see all of the different colors. Light is made up of every color. And whatever the light comes through, what we see are the colors that it allows to pass through. Now, because this is clear, sometimes it breaks up all of the colors and it lets them all pass through, but they pass through separately. That's called a prism. That's a pretty fancy word. All you need to know is that this is clear calcite and that it breaks up the colors in the light that come through it. I think it's really special. And it still has the same texture as the other calcites. Now this piece here is called labradorite. Labradorite is beautiful. You can also see some rainbows in that. Do you see where the light hits it? Now it's not as smooth and slippery as calcite, but it's pretty smooth. This piece has been polished. You can see some areas are darker. There's those little darker inclusions, those spots of mineral in there. And usually calcite looks it's like a greenish, bluish gray, but it's really good at shining and separating the light so that you can see all kinds of beautiful, shimmery, shiny rainbows in there. That's labradorite. This one is called celestine. Now celestine is another kind of quartz, and you can see it also has lots of inclusions. Now celestine is this specimen is called a geode. See how it's kind of ugly on one side? Well, that's the outside, and when you crack it open, there's this beautiful shiny, colorful blue crystal waiting inside. Here is another good example of a geode my brother found for me. He said, "Ew, this rock doesn't look very pretty at all," until the rock broke and he saw the inside of it. Look, now that is quartz on the inside. That's why, remember how we talk about in class, we always have to look on the inside because you never know what someone's inside is like. The outside doesn't always show you. And those are some of my favorite pieces in my rock collection. I have a few more and I'll probably show you those in another video another time. But I really hope that you liked these. Do you have any rocks that you like? I'd love to see them. Send me pictures. Talk to me about them. Bye guys.